I actually was a part of a program where God just really seeded this ministry in me.
Let me tell y'all something. I done found me a keeper.
So Satan would love to keep you off the path through as you go through your purpose. Y'all want to know what I love about recording podcasts? Is that it's literally so convenient to just turn the camera on and share your thoughts. And I'm not one of the podcasters that are too concerned about my hair, my makeup, all of that. Like, we're not that type of girly. I mean, there's a time and a place, right? But we sitting in the office on the couch sharing a word, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're listening to this while you're driving in the car. It's not like this is some whole professional setting. So I'm just sharing this just in case you yourself are like, I want to start a podcast and you feel like everything has to be perfect. Sis, do it how you want to do it. This is your space. It's your platform. You curate it how you see fit. You show up how you want to show up. Long as it's in decency and order, have at it. Have at it. So we're back on the comfort zone. We're going to sit here for a minute because I'm working through this. And if you have accepted that you're canceling your comfort zone as well, you're working through it as well. And as the working through it is working, we see that it is not a one-time fix. It's not just I'm screaming, canceling my comfort zone, then all of a sudden my comfort zone is canceled. You may have multiple areas where you need to branch out and take up space. Multiple spaces. Some of these spaces you may not even be aware of, but the more you uncover, I guess it's kind of like a onion. The more layers you peel back, the more you discover the depths of this vegetable. If that's a vegetable, I'm pretty sure it is. But the more you uncover the depths of this vegetable, the more you uncover the depths of yourself as you branch out, as you expand, just like our potential. There's so much potential on the inside, so many things that we would be great at, so many things that we excel in, so many areas of growth. But if we don't ever explore that realm of potential, meaning start to put things into practice, start to try different things, you would never know what your potential is, or you'd probably barely scratch the surface. Man. So one thing's for sure. I think the most primary thing when it comes to canceling your comfort zone is structuring your mindset around it, committing your mindset to it. Like, it's more than a physical action-based thing, more than getting up at 4:30 a.m. every morning, more than saying no to sweets, more than starting the business. You got to commit your mind to it, because it is in your mind that the decisions for your day-to-day commitments, tasks, and responsibilities are being made. You decide in your mind whether or not you're going to commit to it first, right? And throughout the day, the urges of our flesh, the temptations of our flesh come, and we have to decide, okay, am I going to do what's comfortable for me, what I would normally do in this moment, or am I going to do what's uncomfortable, which would likely be the better choice, right? Better choice not to spend that extra money on Starbucks, not to lay in the bed for those extra 30 minutes, not to call that man's phone and knowing that it's likely going to open up another can of worms that you don't even have the capacity to shut back if it opens, right? So it's those type of mindset shifts that we have to make that is going to help us commit to the cancellation. Because we can scream a thing all day, but if your mind is not set on the commitment to it, then you're going to have struggles with it. And some of my comfort zone aspects that I'm breaking out of, I'm cool with committing to them. I'm doing a good job, making good progression. Others, I'm struggling. I'm like, this is a way more than I thought it would be. It's way deeper than I thought it would be. It goes mind deep. It goes habit deep. It goes intention deep. It goes suffering, pain deep, right? It goes physical discomfort deep. Like some things you're denying yourself. It sometimes feels physically discomforting because your flesh is so used to it. So your flesh is now rebelling against you because you're denying yourself the thing that it's used to getting on command when it wants it. So for me, shifting into entrepreneurship, before I did this, I was getting better with managing my finances. So I grew up very spoiled as far as like material things. Like I pretty much got what I wanted. And so when I went to college, I got my job and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be good as long as I make sure I can pay for what I want. So if I want my nails done, I need to make sure I got enough money to do that, enough jobs to make sure the income is coming in, live in an apartment. As long as I'm making enough money to do exactly what I want to do, then I'm good. Savings wasn't a part of my mindset. Assets weren't a part of my mindset. Budgeting were not a part of my mindset. As long as my bills were paid, I'm good. So like up until the last dollar, that last $47. If I had that last $47 and I can get my nails done, I was going to go get my nails. What's up, sis? I hope you are enjoying the pod so far. You know, I had to pop in right quick and plug the ministry. So if you have not already, go and use the link in the description and join the Women Alike Ministry of Restoration. It is the perfect place for you to connect with like-minded women. Amongst other things, we just in there having a great time. See you over there, sis. Son, and thug it until the next paycheck. That is how bad I was. And so coming from that to where I am now, I see a grand progression, but it's still a struggle because it's a mental thing of just spending, and not thinking about it. And so my comfort zone is that cushion of just having money and spending it and knowing that it's going to be replaced. But now, because I had a 9-to-5 at a job, the paycheck was coming every 2 weeks. But now as an entrepreneur, it's like you really have to be mindful of that, Naquandra. Like you really have to be intentional about where your money is going, what accounts is going in, what bills are due, what you have to spend, what you don't have to spend, right? Spending money on coffee, spending money on snacks, all that stuff has to be clocked, literally, because we don't have that comfort zone, that cushion, what was it? It was like that reliability of that paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. And so, yeah, I could go and get a 9-to-5 and have that consistent check, but that is not congruent to the goals that I have set. And so with what I am making, I have to get out of my comfort zone in saying no to the snacks, right? Making sure I stay in my money's business and fill out my expense and income and budget book every single day. I have to tell my flesh no consistently. And like I said, from that point of spending every dollar down to the last dime, I've seen grand progression in myself to where I am now as a 30-year-old adult. I don't do that anymore, but I still, there's moments, there's always struggles, there's always seasons where it's like, okay, Nicandra, hey, Come on, get this together. And so it goes for me mind deep, you know, uh, physical discomfort in that area. And you may experience that when you are canceling your comfort zone, if it comes to your finances or it's coming to your health. Your health, girl, you're going to have to work out. That's not going to feel good. Girl, you're going to have to eat certain things. You're going to have to tell yourself, no, I can't get this ice cream. No, I can't get this bag of chips. Like, I can't do it. And your flesh may begin to rebel against you and throw a headache in there, like throw a stomach ache in there, something. But you still have to be willing to stand strong. And that's where the spirit of discernment kicks in, because you can recognize, oh, okay, this is happening to me because I'm not eating sugar. It's fine. We're just gonna endure it. We're not gonna try to give in and soothe it and just taste a little bit to get rid of the headache because my body is dying. No, your body is rebelling. Okay. Your body is cutting up. All right. So you know how, like, when kids cutting up and they need a whooping, your body is cutting up and it need a whooping. You need to get it together. Okay. It needs to come into accordance, come into agreement with what your mind is doing, with what your spirit is doing. Your flesh is like a little child who just wants to do whatever it wants to do. My flesh is like a little child who wants to go get some cheese fries from Cookout, want to go get some ice cream from this place, want to go get some coffee from this place, want to go get some cheese puffs from this place. No, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, because that is also poor stewardship. Let's be real about it. That's also poor stewardship. So getting out of your comfort zone, man, so many different facets to it, but the top of the cream, what is it, what they say, the cream of the crop? I don't even know if that's supposed to be the best of the best or what, but that's what people say. The cream of the crop about it is, I probably just used that wrong, is your mindset, right? You have to decide in your mind, I am going to commit to this. And like I told you, I put reminders on my phone so that every 2 hours now it says I don't have a comfort zone. I don't have a comfort zone. 3 times a day I have a notification that says get in your money's business, get in your money's business. So every time that alarm goes off, I'm training myself to literally open your bank account app and just get in your money's business. See what you've been spending your money on. See where it's going at. Your money cannot have a mind of its own. You got to stay in your money's business so that you know what it's doing at all times, what you're doing with, because you're the one manipulating it. You're the one making it go here, making it go there, giving the shots. But sometimes we are just spinning. It's like as long as we know in our head about how much money we have, we just keep spinning until a couple days later we look at it and we're like, oh dang, I spent that much money. Like that right there is not wise. That's not wise. That's not wise. So get in your money's business. If finances is one of those areas you need to get out of your comfort zone, get out of that that spending habit, that spending spree or whatever that you're used to doing. You got to break that, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. Decide in your mind that you are going to commit. One thing that Apostle was saying, y'all probably tired of hearing me talk about Apostle. I'll be like, Apostle was this, Apostle that. Y'all need to go plug in, okay? But she was saying one day in our morning group, the old won't work. The old won't work. And I think typically when we think of the old as believers, we think of the old ways that we used to drink, smoke, be having sex out in the clubs, being hateful, being unforgiving, that type of old. But there's other olds as well. Your mindset, old mindsets, old habits, old patterns will not work. So we can just sit this here on finances. Old patterns of how you used to spend your money will not work. Old habits of how you used to manage your money will not work. Old perceptions of how you viewed your money will not work. Behold, you have to shift your lifestyle and your mindset to the new thing. And that is not comfortable, but it is necessary. It's necessary to check in on your bank account multiple times a day if you have a poor spending habit. It's necessary to fill out an expense book. It's necessary to have a savings account. It's necessary to pay your tithes. It's necessary to give into the storehouse. It's necessary. It's necessary. It's necessary, man. It's necessary to say no. It's necessary to say no. No, you can't get that pocketbook. No, you can't get them shoes. No, you can't get that Skittles, girl. No. No, you can't go get them Dippin' Dots. You cannot. I'm sorry, but you can't get it. Because you are cultivating in this area of finances that will help you steward well over what is to come. But if every increase you get, now listen, I'm talking to me too. Every increase you get, if you are squandering it, meaning just spending it on whatever, how are you showing God that He can trust you with more? How? Now there is grace and there is mercy for sure. But just willfully doing it like it's nothing. How do you expect God to trust you with the greater that you want, that you're hoping and wishing for? How? Hold up right quick, sis. Take a moment and like this episode and follow the podcast if you aren't. The moment you do, it'll be boosted and the more people will be blessed. Houseway. How? You asked me. You answer that houseway. How? So that's the word for today. The scripture for today, episode 110, is Romans chapter 8, verses 5 through 7, we'll say. It says, for those who live according to their flesh have their minds set on the things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit have their minds set on the things of the Spirit. Side note, that notification you just heard was, I do not have a comfort zone. I told you it's real over here. It says, now the mindset of the flesh is death, but the mindset of the Spirit is life and peace. The mindset of the flesh is hostile to God because it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it is unable to do so. Let's go to verse 8. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. You, however, are not in the flesh, but in spirit. If indeed the Spirit of God lives in you, if anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, he does not belong to him. Now, if Christ is in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit gives life because of righteousness. Amen. So, those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on things of the flesh. And the mindset of the flesh is death. But those who live according to the Spirit have their mindset on the things of the Spirit. The mindset of the Spirit is life and peace. Set your mind on the things of the Spirit. Set your mind on gentleness. Set your mind on self-control. Again, let's stay here on finances. And I'm talking to me. Set your mind on self-control, because that's one of the fruits of the Spirit. And the more you keep your mind on self-control, the more your flesh will come into obedience to the mindset of the Spirit, because the mindset of the Spirit is superior. Also, make sure that you are feeding your spirit. One thing I was convicted about yesterday and a few times this week is While I'm working, sometimes I'll turn on like a movie or something. And at times I'm like, yo, why am I even watching this movie while I'm trying to get work done? Because it's low key. Sometimes I'm staring at the movie and then I'll come back to the work. Stand in the movie, come back and get to the work. Or other times my ear is attentive to the movie, but my eyes are attentive to my work. And so something is being neglected, right? And so there's a time and a place for everything. So talking about self-control and setting our minds on the things of the spirit, as self-control is one of the fruits of the spirit, we need to make sure that we're feeding our spirit the things of God. And I'm not saying that there isn't a time and place to watch movies. There is, but do it in that time and that place to watch the movie. But feed your spirit the things of the spirit. So listen to worship, listen to soft piano music, listen to sermons, listen to anything that's going to feed your spirit. Listen to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Self-control. Feed your spirit, because the spirit is the superior thing to the flesh, right? But if you feed your flesh more, your flesh will become more superior, right? So don't waste your time, or don't waste your mind. That's good. Don't waste your mind on idle things, futile things, right? Be intentional with your time. So that's our scripture. It's Romans chapter 8, verses 5 all the way down to 11. You can read. And it just talks about the mindset of the flesh and the mindset of the spirit. But my strategy for you today, if you have not yet, is to set the reminders on your phone. I do not have a comfort zone. I do not have a comfort zone, so that it'll ring loudly when the opportunity to shrink back presents itself. Let freedom ring loudly that I do not have a comfort zone. I do not have a comfort zone. That's the strategy. And your prayer points is to just pray against everything that is trying to push you into the comfort zone, whether it be doubt, self-doubt, whether it be fear, failure, whether it be procrastination, feelings of inadequacy, imposter syndrome. Pray against those things and declare what God says about those things as well in your prayer life. Recall his word to him. Recall it back to him. That's good. Comfort zone canceled. Now you go and be blessed.